All right, guys, this is going to be a relatively short video. We're going to talk about the information you get to help you make decisions as to what you should invest in or where you should put your money. Now, as I always say on this channel, you need to do your due diligence. I am a guy here on YouTube, financial professional, not your financial professional. We get on here and discuss concepts that you can take and do research on and then figure out whether they fit into your economic life. Okay. I don't give you advice. There's no way I could. I can't give. I'm not going to do the thing where you walk into the bookstore in January and you see Money Magazine and they say, 5 can't miss stocks for 2021 or whenever. Man, if they got 1 million people reading the magazine, how can they make that statement? So you need to take everything that's coming out of financial media, including this channel, with a grain of salt. Now, again, what we bring to you are concepts, and I'm adamant about bringing you the panoply, the entire world view of how you can make money as far as we know it here at Money Changes Everything. And we know that stocks, bonds, insurance policies, commodities, real estate, and your own business can help you to make money and achieve financial independence. So we talk about all of those things to some degree or another, but we talk about all of those things. If you watch CNBC, Fox Business, or Bloomberg, you will find that there is an overwhelming emphasis on stocks, okay, and the stock market. Most of their day, they're talking about stocks in the stock market. In fact, they arrange their programming such that everything prior to market opening is talking about what the market did yesterday and what it's likely to do at the open. And then from the market open, from 9:30 on to 4, they focus intently on whatever's going on the stock markets, okay? And they even give some attention to stock markets in other countries as well. That's how deep they go with this. But if we just look at that one aspect of that one asset class, remember, that is paper, stocks, bonds, index and mutual funds, insurance policies, okay? They make up that paper asset class. And we've got the financial news networks paying most of their attention to one aspect of that, stocks. Then you're missing out on discussion, entertaining concepts on a lot of other things that have made people a lot of money, are making people a lot of money, and will continue to make people a lot of money. So when you watch those channels, you are getting stock market centric information. I'm not accusing them of doing anything untoward. They just choose to focus on that. Now, the reason they do that, and again, this is not them being untoward, it's just what they tend to focus on. They're doing it because, first of all, most of these channels are out of New York, and New York is a financial capital. New York City is a financial capital. Second of all, their sponsors are these same companies that are listed on these major exchanges. GM, for example, AT&T, Verizon. These are the companies that advertise with them. So they're going to tend to see the world from the stock-centric viewpoint. You got the New York Stock Exchange up there in the same area. You've got all of these people. Their constituency is stockbrokers, traders, hedge funds, that sort of thing. Their constituency is not folk who flip houses, for example, or folk who purchase houses for rent, for example, because you can make a lot of money doing both of those things too. So you're not going to see Maria Bartiromo, who I think is an excellent journalist. You're not going to see the folks over at CNBC. They have some excellent journalists. You're not going to see them examine the housing market to the same depth and degree that they're focused on the stock market. You're not going to see them talk about how you can get a predictable rate of return, how you can also mitigate healthcare costs, how you can lower your taxes and have liquidity with an insurance policy. They're never going to talk about that. Okay, you're not going to, I think Bloomberg actually has a moratorium on talking about gold and silver, although silver has a ton of industrial applications, and both silver and gold have proven for many centuries to be a hedge against inflation. We talk about inflation all the time here and how it robs you of your purchasing power. And we don't get a lot of discussion from those networks on that. We don't get any. I heard one of the major finance guys, and forgive me, I forget his name. It was on Kitco News. He was talking about the fact that he hasn't been invited back on Bloomberg in years because he does include some perspective in terms of the commodities of gold and silver, and apparently they don't dig that. So you've got to take these channels, if you watch them, with a grain of salt. Another thing you got to be careful about when it comes to these particular stations. They might bring someone on and interview them as CEO of a publicly traded company, for example. And depending on how they report this, it may give you the impression that that interview was a substitute for you doing your research into whatever company it was, okay? They had a show years ago. I don't know if they still have it because, again, I haven't watched news in years. They used to have a show called Bulls and Bears on Fox Business. And I used to watch that show. And it was really entertaining. And I took it as such. But they used to have their guys on there who would say, you know, I like this stock and I like that stock. Or I don't like this stock and I don't like that stock. And I used to often wonder, are people making picks based on this show? Because if that's the case, that's pretty dangerous. Now, to their credit, they would give a disclaimer and say, you know, this is for entertainment purposes. But you know how it is. It's just like when you get the, you sign up for something online and it has 30 pages worth of disclosure. And then it has the box to say, do you agree? And very few people read that in its entirety. And they know that. Okay. They could hook up a timer to it and say, you haven't read this. It hasn't been enough time. But they let you go ahead and check the box. So it was the same type of thing. Yeah, they disclosed that it was for entertainment purposes only. However, I'm sure some people disregarded that. And that's on them. That's certainly not the fault of the network. But you have to be careful of these things. Always do your due diligence and figure out what an investment will mean to your personal economy. Your circumstances are not my circumstances, okay? What might be great for you may be detrimental to me. So when you consume financial news, whether it be on television, in the Wall Street Journal, in the Financial Times newspaper, over the radio, a lot of guys come on talk radio on Saturday afternoons and they have shows that talk about finance. And there's a lot of good information in there. But never just run with that. Always do your due diligence first to see if you can incorporate that into your financial plan for your specific life. All right? So just a word of advice on financial information out there in the ether. Okay? All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.